to GESP and SoccerHER joint podcast. We are here to reimagine the playing field in women's football with female game changers. My name is Ruža, FF Serbia grassroots manager, sports industry specialist, and former football referee. Let's empower the girls with this episode. Big round of applause for my next guest. Well, hello and welcome to GSP and SoccerHER joint episode. I have a really pleasure today to speak with a Serbian football superstar. I'm not saying women's football in particular. With me today is Jovana Damjanović, the FC Bayern Munich superstar, striker, Champions League player, and only winner from Serbia of this massive competition, and the national team player. But something really interesting today is we are not only going to speak about reimagining the playing field for the girls, but also about dual careers, because my lovely guest today, she's, if I'm saying right, coffeeologist. Is this
right.
A proper term? Okay. And also a coffee expert, business owner, founder of Nine Fine Roastery. Did I say right? Awesome. So welcome, Jovana. Willkommen, Jovana. Dobrodošla. I'm super happy to have you here.
Hi, Ruža. Nice to see you, or actually nice to hear you, or actually nice to see you and nice to hear you. Normally we are just texting, but now it's a different way of communication with you. And thanks for having me. And I'm actually really looking forward to it. It's my first podcast, like this kind of podcast. So I'm kind of nervous, but I think everything is going to be all right.
No worries. If you can score when it's most needed, then definitely you will do this in the same way. When we were planning this podcast for this European Union project, we were really thinking about game changers in women's football. And the reason why I consider you as a game changer is not the amazing stuff you're doing on the field, because you are for sure, but with the fact that you really change the way how, let's say, one federation is treating their own players. Maybe not still in a way that you would like to, but you did really something huge for all the girls. You actually made them really reconsider and rethink the way how they protect in a, let's say, healthy way and about your health, the players in national team. And you were really specific about that you will not come back in a national team unless everybody is covered. And I remember well that you said to me, I'm not doing that for myself, I'm doing that for the girls that are coming after me. So thank you so much on behalf of everybody who is involved in women's game, but also how difficult it was to be a leader of a fight that is still ongoing and actually to do such a thing, because I believe it was not easy to be outside of the national team that you like them so much.
Yeah, for sure. It wasn't an easy decision back in the days for me. And when all this happened, when I break my foot, when I was playing for national team, I was, I think, 22 years old, so still pretty young. And then the old things with the Football Association of Serbia happened, and not having an insurance. And then I realized, okay, why I'm doing this, like there is not a certain reason that I should do this if I don't have a certain health insurance, or like a proper health insurance, and as well the other girls. I mean, as you know, or like as your listeners know, we are not getting any like money or anything for playing for national team. So I think covered health insurance, it's like the number one thing that one player needs to have, because we're risking our careers, and if you just don't have this, you cannot do any bigger things. So for me, that was just a step number one, that I wanted to change it. And it wasn't easy, like best age from 25 to 27, not playing for a national team was hard, and every time, like when my girls or like for my team were leaving for a national team break, I was staying in Munich and thinking, oh no, like I'm going to train with the second team now for 10 days, and then I'm looking everything, what's happening around, missing so many games, missing so many tournaments, maybe a lot of emotions as well, that's experience that no one can give me when I'm done with my careers. That's 5 years of my life. But at the end, I mean, it was successful. It wasn't quite successful as I wanted to be. I wanted it to be even bigger. But it's, let's say, we're in Serbia and step one is made. So there's a lot of other steps that needs to be made as well. But let's say the first step is made, and I hope that we can all just continue on doing this and to create those equal opportunities for female players.
Well, this is really a huge thing, because sometimes what we do in football reflects on other sports too. So everybody then feels that they are empowered to do that in their own sport. So this is really beyond football, but really a milestone that we achieved. When we speak about achieving milestones, of course, equal pay is something that is present in let's say every association at the moment. U.S. Women's soccer team really did a huge global movement on that matter, and now we see in our region that Slovenian national team did the same. How far are we from that?
Far, far away.
I know that you girls are actually doing the talk, and that you started a talk, and I can confirm from my point of view and from speaking with my colleagues involved with women's game that there is a buzz around it, that actually people are reconsidering thinking about that. I cannot say that they're super happy to join this movement, of course, because still there is a need for our culture to understand women's game a little bit better. But still, I can feel the buzz, and I can feel that they are aware that you will not be quiet about it, and that you will not give up on this because you are quite strong as a team in fighting for future.
Yeah, I mean, we are trying. There is a lot of talks going on with FIFPro, with UEFA, with Serbian Football Federation, that, as we know, Serbia is behind Europe in many ways. Like first, it's like how the society treats women, and now we are just not talking about the women's football. We are talking about everything, like we need to change those stereotypes. True equality in sport and beyond, it's breaking down all the barriers that are made over the years. And it's not just like now about getting money, it's just about like getting that everybody has the same opportunities at the beginning, that we all have the same playing field, and that's hard. And in Serbia, fighting for those type of changes is really hard, because the decisions are normally made by older men, that maybe don't have interest in changing something in women's football, that maybe don't even know that women's football is a big thing that's coming up. Or maybe it's just like some lack of I'm not going to talk about it anymore.
You said enough.
No. Yeah, I said enough. And it's a sensitive topic for me, and I don't want to dive deeply into it. So I think it's enough, and people will.
Yes, everybody understood. And I will also give a brief comment, as people who are listening this are aware of. I'm also a grassroots manager in the FA of Serbia, but I'm not the only person on that position. I have my male colleague who is really passionate about grassroots and youth football. But still, sometimes when there are meetings to be taken, I ask him to go, and I'm not going, not because I'm not entitled or qualified, but just because I know that nobody's going to take me seriously since I'm a lady. So I do know that we do have a cultural issues, not only in Serbia and Balkans, and even further, but they have to accept. So this is now like a mandatory thing. So, but I believe that will come in Serbia. I mean, everything comes 10 years later. So this thing too, hopefully not that longer, but still I do feel you personally, because even from the other side of the pitch, we face the same issues. And I always highlight that. I mean, even in this podcast, almost every episode, we run the same race, so we deserve the same medal in the end. But what is really interesting, that when we speak about finance, when we speak about pay and everything else, you girls start quite early thinking about another sources of income. Because in women's football, one contract is not guarantee you, let's say, safe future like it is in a men's game. I mean, even if you're a youngster, you can still sign a 1 million euros or dollars deal, and then you can basically have some money for your future, and then don't even think. But you girls, you really consider dual careers from many perspectives. Like, you go to school, you continue going to universities, faculties, you look for other source of incomes, you start with your hobbies, think about businesses. I mean, with the first a bit significant, more significant amount of money, you try, let's say, to buy some properties in order to have place to live later on. So where did the passion for you becoming an entrepreneur came? In terms of, was it because of that fact, or because you're super, super passionate about coffee?
I would say both, you know. I mean, since I started playing football, I know that when I'm done with my career, that I would need to do something else, you know. And for the past years, I was thinking about it more often, you know, like then I'm getting older and there are like normal thoughts, you know, then you're like facing maybe some injuries and start thinking, okay, what I'm going to do actually when I step out of this football field, you know, like where is my perspective? And I'm actually a really passionate person, you know, and all the people who knows me, they know that,
yeah,
like,
I do.
yeah, I live out of energy, you know. And then of course, like I did my bachelor, you know, I did different courses, work in different companies just to see like what interest I have in, you know. But then I realized, okay, all those things when I'm sitting
But can you
in the
imagine
office,
a male colleague from Bayern doing the same that you are doing?
nah, no way. I mean,
Exactly.
nothing against them, but it's the same thing. It's a society, you know, like,
Exactly.
yeah, back to the thema. And then I realized, okay, I need something that I'm going to do with a lot of passion, you know, like as the same way I'm doing this football game. And then I was thinking, okay, what's the thing that I really, really, really like and that I'm really enjoying? And I was like, oh, I actually really like coffee, you know? And that was 4 or 5 years ago. And then I realized to buy my first espresso machine, you know, the one, like really professional one. But then, you know, I was like, oh, it's like €1,000, you know, it's a lot of money, you know, maybe I can spend it in a different way. And I'm not like type of, you know, person that I'm just going to spend the money, you know, like
Yes.
on, I would not say unnecessary things, but I'm always thinking, okay, just save it. You will need it for later. Then I tore my ACL. You know, I was really depressed. Sitting in home, I was like, oh, I need to do something for myself. And then in this moment, I got an email from this factory that I wanted to buy, like from this factory, this espresso machine, that they have like one espresso machine on a stock. I was like, okay, that's the sign. I'm going to do it. Then I bought my first espresso machine. And then from that day, yeah, everything changed.
Yes, this is a phenomenal story, and this is really something to really speak out about, because you can really motivate a lot of girls who maybe are in the same situation like you were regarding the injury, and then thinking what to do with that time that actually you have, instead of being depressed and feeling low. You can really use that time, because otherwise you don't have time for those kind of stuff. I mean, to find your hobby or think about things you like outside of football, because all your life is football and you're super passionate about it as well. So this is really something huge to look up to, and I believe also that you thinking about other stuff also helped your game as well. I mean, I believe that your creativity is now even bigger when you are thinking on so many things. Like when you're a business owner, you need to, you know, think almost like in a game about tactics and everything else. So how does now, when Jovana, after going to a pitch or training session or a game, has to come home, let's say, open the emails, speak with all the people involved about logistics, about the job and everything else, understanding the laws and regulations in Germany in terms of being a business owner. So how does it feel, and how do you feel now after quite some time of taking that risk and actually following that path?
I'm actually really enjoying it, you know, and back to the thing that you said before, I think tearing ACL, I know it's going to sound stupid, but I'm always saying to people, it's the best thing that can happen to me. Like, of course, when you look at like from a sports side, okay, you're missing 1 year of the game. But then I was like, I changed a lot of this in this time, before every time I was like coming back home, if I had a good training or bad training, it was influencing my mood so much. I couldn't sleep if I trained bad or if I slept bad. And now it's completely different. I started not to identify as a football player, and I know that like one game, it's not going to make me better or worse person. I know it's my worth. It's not just on the football field. So now I know when I come back from a training, even if it's a bad training, I'm not thinking about this because I have other things that I need to do. As you already said, I need to open my emails. I need to talk with the German Post, with the German offices. And, like papyrology in Germany, it's just crazy. And the bureaucracy, you need a paper literally for everything. So that's a lot of new things. And of course, my German is not my native language, like I came here when I was 18, it's good, but it's still, when I need to do like some things in German, I'm like getting nervous, especially if it's official thing. So my day, I would say, like I'm going to talk about tomorrow, I have a meeting with a web designer at 8, and then I'm going to go to the training, have some meetings with the captain's team and some other things in Bayern. And then I will come home and probably hopefully I will get some orders, pack some packagings, write some cards, things about maybe another Instagram post or social media post, get some ideas, be creative. Next week, I'm going to roast again. So I'm going to think about this a bit to make a plan. So it's like a lot of things that I'm handling at the same time. And I think it's actually good for my football career because I'm not focusing on the football the whole time because I'm going to a training. I'm focused on my training 2, 3, 5 hours or like how long it takes. And then, okay, I'm out. I have something else to do. So I'm actually really, really enjoying it. And
I believe it's good for mental health.
For sure. I mean, sometimes, of course, like I wish, okay, it's maybe easier, because I'm also the type of person I want to do everything by myself, I don't want to hire somebody. So if there is a web design or logistic or whatever, I'm already thinking, okay, I can do it by myself. And it's quite challenging, but I'm enjoying it. And I'm pretty sure that's going to help me a lot now and definitely for my life after a football career as well.
Well, I hope when you next time come to Serbia that you will bring one pack of your coffee to me as a to taste it and try it because I'm really huge coffee lover. When I say I'm a coffee lover, I do not drink coffee with milk. I enjoy the proper espresso shot. But I also understood whenever I was traveling to Germany that coffee is also a big part of a German culture, especially in terms of using coffee as a digestive after the meal, in terms of drinking a shot of espresso after a meal. Did that influence your, let's say, passion for coffee, or maybe did you started drinking more coffee because of, let's say, you spending that much time in Germany and living there for quite some time, or is that is already was a thing back at home? So when actually your love for coffee was established?
I would say it already started in Serbia because, I mean, of course, Germany has a good coffee drinking culture, but I think in Serbia is even more, in Germany, people are drinking coffee way more at home than Serbians, like in Serbia, you meet with friends for a coffee, or like since I was like 15, 16, we were meeting up for coffee. Okay, let's go have a coffee.
Even our grannies, we were look at them like receiving people at home and hosting people over a cup of coffee.
Exactly. And I think it's like more a Serbian culture, and I just love, that coffee brings people together. I mean, it's the same things that football is doing. It brings people together. And, like then I moved to Germany, of course, I need to adapt a bit, it's just not a common thing that you say to people in Germany, hey, come over to my place, like people are going to invite you to their place just if you're like friends for like more than 2 years, In Serbia, it's just a normal thing to have people over or just have a coffee with them. Yeah, but I would say it's definitely coming from Serbia, not from Germany. Germans have some other really good things, what in Serbia don't have, that people are making good coffee at home way more than people in Serbia, that people want to know more about the coffee, about the country of origin, about the way how it should be prepared, about all the things they really want to know, everything about your coffee, And I think it's quite interesting because in Serbia, people are just like, okay, come on, let's just have a coffee, and that's it. This restaurant here has a good coffee and this has a bad, and that's it. There is no more talks about it. Just like good or bad. It's nothing in between.
Yeah, typical Serbs. But what was the reaction of your environment when you told them that you are about to join this path as a coffeeologist? I mean, your family, friends, fiance. What was their reaction on you jumping into this coffee road?
I mean, it wasn't the decision that I made or denied. For the last, I would say, since 2020 till now, I like I already said, when I bought this espresso machine, it's already started, like my learning phase, let's say, and then buying one book, another book. Then I bought the first home roasting machine. Then I go to the first course, second course, and the people that knows me, they know like that I'm like getting more and more and more. And actually, they were actually the ones that pushed me over the line and say, Jovi, your coffee is actually really good, because I was roasting at home for myself, for my friends, giving them, okay, try this, try this, try this. And then they said, okay, you're actually doing this good. Why you should not start your own company? And then I was like, okay, it's actually a nice idea. And then I started it. So I don't think that they're that surprised, because I think all the people that know me a bit better and following me or even following me on social media knows how often I post pictures of coffee, of espresso, or whatever. So I don't think that anyone is like super surprised now that I'm doing it.
Yes, that's really nice and really important to have a support from your environment. But knowing you, I know that you would actually do it anyways, even if you're all alone, believing that that's gonna happen. But it's also really important and nice to have a good support system, and that is something I'm trying to share a lot through this podcast series, and try to use every possible way to emphasize on support and importance on having support. But speaking of support and how proud you can be now, when you think about little girl who started her road in football, and when you look at you now as a person, like you mentioned, because you are not what you're doing, you are just more than a football player and a superstar that we really consider you, even though that I know how modest you are and you would never admit that. But but allow me to speak in that way, because we do need role models like you. So when you look at back where and when you started, and when you look at you now, what are your first thoughts? Like, have you ever do you ever find some time to stop and praise yourself, like tap the shoulder and say, "Good job, girl," or do anything to remember and to, let's say, praise the road you took?
Not really, but now did you notice it? I was thinking about it the whole time when you were talking, and I just think, wow.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the person that's gonna put myself, into a frame and say, okay, that's me. I did this, and this. But I'm definitely happy with how my life is evolving, like from year to year. So when I think now about, I would say it was 2003, 2004, when I started playing in Serbia with the boys. I think we know each other from this
back
time
then.
back then.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was a referee of the grassroots leagues that you were part of, so yes, it were my beginnings too, so in a more serious way. So yeah, we really followed each other for quite some time.
That's true. And our paths are crossing constantly,
Yes.
It doesn't matter what I'm doing, you're always there.
Exactly.
Out of nothing. Oh, Ruža is popping.
Yes.
Oh, hi.
Exactly.
Now, and I mean, we both can see that the things are changing, like even in Serbia, the things
Yes.
are changing. But we all know that's huge work also that we all need to do to even make it better and make it bigger for the future generations.
Exactly. I was also criticizing your team, by the way, speaking on what they're doing for women's game, because I actually highlighted the fact that from Serbia you cannot order your jersey from the Bayern Munich. You can buy it in Germany. I mean, it was back when I was doing the analysis of the clubs. The idea was that basically you can order from Bayern Munich a female jersey and then put the name you want. And then I was asking, I mean, even Bianca Rech, when I had one chance to speak with her, I asked her, what is the difference between me putting my last name and Jovana's last name? Which is actually the message I wanted her to share with the marketing department in terms of that you're not getting the credibility you deserve in that area. But I really do and see and can say all the good things that Bayern Munich is doing for the women's game overall, not only in Germany, I mean globally and so on. But at that point I realized, even though everybody is doing a huge change, still it's kind of a slow in terms of potential that the game itself has. So one of the idea why I wanted to speak with you about, let's say, dual careers and those kind of stuff is like, okay, with you and people like you, let's say the coffee industry is also now being open for women's game. I mean, you can be influencers in both worlds. You can have partnerships and sponsorship in both worlds. This is something that people are not getting that much of. How lack of proper funding we are losing and not having in women's game that men game is having, and it's not our fault. It's actually the fault of everybody who is not aware of huge fan base that comes with you, huge buzz that comes with you. So those are the stuff that we really actually need to change. And I'm really happy that you took that kind of influencer role, not only in Serbia, but I mean in women's game as well. But do you feel that we are still kind of moving slow?
For sure. I mean, I would also say in Germany, the things are moving slow, but are at least moving, and the things that you already said about the jerseys, they changed it, but of course there is a lot of things that needs to be improved, but I think when the things are moving, it's fine, it's just a problem when we just stop. And as you already said, I think it's a huge potential in women's football. And I'm wishing that, like also in Serbia, more domestic companies realize this and started investing in like the sports people or like athletes from this country. Because I think, and I'm not talking about the football now, I'm talking about all the different sports, even
culture. We can consider art and culture as a part of
exactly
places to be invested in.
Yeah, exactly. The stakeholders, the domestic companies, all those things. I think we need more of them to invest in our sports. And of course, I would like them to invest more in a female sports, but we also know that the situation in our male sports is not really good. Yes. So I think that's maybe the future that we need to do. I already talked with one friend of mine. He's living here in Munich, and he also has a Serbian roots. And then he asked me, did you ever have like any kind of company that wanted to sponsor you or things? I was like, yeah, this. He was like, were there any company from Serbia? I was like, no. And then I was thinking, okay, it's crazy. And then he was like, do you maybe sometimes have a feeling that you're like getting more respect and everything, like your foreigner country than in your own country? And then I started thinking about this, and it is, it's not like that I'm criticizing Serbia. It's just the culture is different. I never had a chance to work with any Serbian brand, like they never came to idea to contact me, and not just me, I'm no one, like even like some girls, like that are doing some bigger sports, I don't think there is that many companies that are ready to invest in women's sport now in Serbia.
Well, I was now just thinking about the sponsors that I know that now are having deals with Novak Djokovic, and I'm not sure that I know any Serbian company in it.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe there is a strategic reason for that, for him not to, let's say, put anybody as a favorite in a market or whatever, because we know him quite well that he really thinks about social impact in the area, not only just getting money. We know him quite well for that. But even if I think now about the companies who wanted maybe back then when he was at the beginning to invest, I don't recall, I remember any company. I mean, it was it was all international companies, maybe
and I'm not talking about the betting companies. They will probably
no,
be interested, but
not even consider them as a part of this conversation, because we do keep these episodes with clean sport and how things should be done. But when I'm literally thinking about those kind of stuff, I really can't imagine. And we're speaking about one of the best that were ever in sports in the world. So yes, this is quite of an interesting topic to reconsider. But also, what we can also here notice is there is some change in Serbia. Especially, I can see that every day in my office, because now when I have a calendar for the 2024, every page contains 2 players of Serbian men's national team and 2 players of the women's national team. You're actually at the February page, so I have you every day in my office. I see you every day in my office. So basically, this is a really nice change that we can see. Maybe it's to somebody it looks like it's just a picture on the calendar, but it is a change. Knowing our culture, and you know what I mean by that, this is really a change, and I'm embracing every change. It's not that I am happy or satisfied with the breadcrumbs, but that doesn't mean a thing. At least there is some movement that we can all lean on to and continue together. And speaking of the movement, we do know that results are really going to boost this progress of women's game in Serbia, and that you guys are, as a national team, are quite close of getting that type of a result. In last couple of games that were, let's say, quite of a decisive or those kind of important games, it felt like you are there, but there is a lack of those kind of games for you as a team to go through them so that you can go a step further. But you, when you were in a youth national teams, you had a chance of playing the biggest competitions with national team, and now you're part of a generation that is trying to do the same with the senior squad. So how do you feel? Is that somewhere close for you guys? Are you almost there with the national team, getting to Euro or the World Cup? I mean, that's not an easy thing even for a men's national team of every country. So don't look at this like Serbia is not good enough or something like that. But how do you feel at this point? At least we are talking about it. We see you almost there.
I have a feeling we are almost there, but not there. There are a few steps that we need to do in those important games. I think we are lacking experience, a lot, because we never had the games like this as a team. Like we never had the pressure of winning before when we played for a national team. I know how it is to play with the pressure since I'm here at Bayern. I have pressure every week that we need to win, but a lot of girls they don't know how to handle when the pressure is there, and I think that's a thing that we need to work on. Yes, we are close to achieving something big, but as I always said, it needs to happen. It finally needs to happen, and I don't know how. Maybe you just need more luck or whatever, but I think we are ready to make this next step, and not just for us. Of course it's going to be great for us to go to a big tournament, but just to change the way of thinking. Sorry, my boyfriend is really loud.
Doesn't matter, I don't hear him. Phenomenal.
He's 3 rooms from here, and then okay, doesn't matter.
But it's good that I don't hear him, even though I don't understand German, so it's quite of a thing, but it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny because I was talking to you and I was just hearing some different voices, so I need to talk louder. So yeah, I think we're ready to make some changes, and not just for us, for the future generation they're coming. And I know that we all need some success or like to go to the big tournaments, and then a lot of things are going to be easier for us. We just need to do it, and I really, really hope that for next few games, everybody is going to stay healthy, that we'll have this sports luck on our side, and then everything is possible. I just don't want to us that some people are talking, okay, they didn't make it again, because they don't know how much pain, how much suffer, and everything it's behind it, and I know it's not a topic, but like the things that we are like experiencing with Football Association of Serbia are really, really not that good, like the way how they treat us. So I think with when we qualify for some big tournament, the things are going to change. And then we'll have even more strength to talk and to talk out louder. That's the thing. We need to set success to talk out louder. So we just all hope that we are going to make it now.
Yes, I hope that too, because I really do believe in you guys. I believed in you even when I can say you were not maybe in that position as a player, but now when you are, I even believe more, and I consider myself lucky to witness this generation of yours and to be part of something bigger, because as you know, we do a lot of programs related to girls, and actually it's phenomenal when I can go there and tell them, yes, you can be an next Jovana, and you can also reach the biggest leagues, the biggest scene of football. So it's really helping a lot to everybody involved in women's game. But as you said, to do even a bigger change, to reimagine this playing field of ours, we do need support. That's why I also, and everybody involved in this project, we reach out to, let's say, European Union, to anyone who can help us speak out and be quite louder, and that everybody can hear about discussions we're having, because there is a really big potential behind it. But one really interesting thing about your generation of national team is that now you're playing with the girls who started playing football by looking up to you. How does it feel? How does it feel to be around all of them to whom you were actual role model, especially being a role model in a period of, let's say, time when women's game in Serbia was not that popular like it is today? So how does that feel when they, let's say, still have some sparkle in their eyes when they see you, speak with you, spend some time in national team with you, play with you? They respect you enormously. They adore you all. So how does it feel to spend some time with those girls now?
It's really nice. I was never seeing myself in this role before, but now when I'm there and those younger girls are coming, and I see the way how they look at me, I see how they're like quiet when I'm there. They're looking literally at everything, what I'm doing. If I'm drinking coffee, if I'm drinking water, what I'm eating, and also when I try to talk with them, if they're, for example, with the national team for the first time, they're super shy. They don't want to say anything. They're just there and looking at me and some other players, and I think they just want to see everything like how the professional players are doing. And I think it's pretty nice. And I also always try to talk with them and to tell them, okay, girls, if you have any question, you can always come and ask you. That's my room. You can always knock on my door. We can have a talk. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. Because to be honest, I didn't have that kind of role model, back then. And I think it's really important to help those younger girls, especially when they're now in the age of 18, 19, 20, and they need to make maybe some bigger decision about their career, maybe I can just give them some tips, of course, maybe I'm going to be wrong as well, but maybe they can see it through my eyes and through my words, and maybe it's going to be easier for them at those beginnings. And as I already said, the grassroots things that you guys are doing are really amazing. And that's the thing about the Football Association of Serbia that I really, really like, because back in the days, we didn't have this. And I'm just thinking now, okay, imagine if I had all of this,
Exactly.
those grassroots programs, like even like to have like access to top-notch coaches, or that the facilities were good, or things like that. How would my career
Yes, and also
be
we bring
now?
football to kindergartens and schools, so you didn't need to go anywhere. Now they're just part of their regular every day at school, and then you bring them football, or they're in kindergarten and you made them Disney princesses. So but they're running with the ball. So yes, this
and
is
it's not a
something.
weird thing for them.
Yes,
I
exactly.
think the
But
society is accepting it better as well, now than they have it in school. I remember when I had it in school.
Yes, exactly. But are you comfortable with now with as being a role model? Because now you cannot avoid that. I mean, this is something that also comes with the success. You cannot just own it and don't think about consequences. And I mean, just live your life regular like nobody knows you. No, this is not the situation anymore. You do have a responsibility yourself. Not only in Serbia. I mean, in Germany, in Munich, you're representing one of the biggest clubs in the world, not only in Europe. So how do you feel with that responsibility? Do you ever think the actually bargain you're taking and having on your shoulders, this cannot be easy? Does anybody help you with that, or do you have any discussions, work on the mental health and pressure that comes with it? Because I also believe this is something we need to highlight, that everybody sees you smiley and happy in jersey, no matter Serbia or Bayern, but in the end, you're just a girl with the feelings.
For sure. I mean, I can talk about myself. For me, it's fine, and pressure is, for me, I don't care, like pressure is actually one thing that moves me. And I'm really enjoying it. But for sure, there are other girls that are struggling more and more and with it. And I think it's very, very, very important that I would say now in Bayern that we have a mental coaches or people that we can talk about those things, and those are the things that I said about the pressure, it's not just a pressure about like being a role model. It's a pressure in your everyday. You need to perform every day if you want to perform at the weekend, and there's a lot of things, then you have like your private problem, your family, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and people are struggling with
And you
it,
have a business.
they have a business.
Yes.
No, but I would say I think it's really good, like that they're like that the younger girls are looking up to us. And I think that now in this age, I'm really ready to be a role model from someone. And I think now that I'm good experience for, or not good example for the younger girls. Maybe back in the days, I was quite problematic, maybe it wasn't like this. But now
Well,
when
that
I
was
look,
also something to showcase to them, because it doesn't matter what your character is in a certain age, that can change. You can evolve, you can progress, you can develop. And I also believe that that was the good behavior for that age, because honestly, it made you who you are at this age, which is quite of a really good thing. So basically, there is nothing to it. It's every part of yourself is to be proud of, even that problematic one you call, but I wouldn't call it. I just can say that you had a quite of a character and temperament and everything else. But I mean, and name me one successful person who didn't have that. I mean, it's impossible. You really need to go through those struggles and everything, and this is something to really be proud of when you look where you are now and where you been, what you have achieved. Like, I'm proud of
yeah,
you.
yeah, I'm proud as well. Like I left this wild, crazy. I would not say problematic. Maybe it was a wrong word, but like I was showing my emotions a bit too much. But as I already said, I think it's important that the girls have somebody to look up and that they have like role models or mentors. And to be honest, I'm also looking up to some girls or some women now that have way more experience than me, and I'm really enjoying to talk with them and to ask them the questions. To look at what they're wearing, how they're talking, how they're speaking in public, how they're behaving. That's the thing. I think we all have time and room for improvement. It doesn't matter if you're 18 or 20 or 30. It doesn't matter. There's always someone who knows more than you, who knows how to behave better, who knows something better than you. So I think it's fine. We all need to have someone that we can look to and to ask if we have a question. So I'm just hoping that those younger girls in my national team, when they have a problem or whatever, they will come to me and ask me, yeah, Jovi, can you help us about this, and this? And I'll try to do my best.
Phenomenal. I hope they will be free to do that. And I cannot thank you enough for sharing these amazing insights on everything, both football, your personal feelings about everything related to football, national team, sport that you love, but also about being so open and honest about your dual career and business and everything that you're doing. So I can only conclude this by wishing you the best of luck in future, and we will for sure enjoy your coffee cups and everything you create and support you on that road, because I do believe when you're champion in one field, you'll continue being champion everywhere else, and that's for sure who you are.
Oh, thank you, Ruža. Those are such nice words, really.
You deserve them.
I'm getting red now.
You deserve them. You deserve them. But we will continue this conversation when you come to Serbia over your coffee.
For sure. Thanks again for having me and for having such a nice talk. I really enjoyed it, as every time with you. So keep it up. I really admire your work and everything what you're doing for women's football or sport in general in Serbia. So keep it up and chapu.
Trust I will. Thanks a ton. Danke and hvala.
Bitte schön. Ciao.
Big shout out to European Union for co-financing this project as a part of the cooperation partnership in field of sports.